Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ayyuhan nas al-Habib. Peace be upon you in the mercy of Allah and the sanctification, O beloved people. Al-Yawmul Jum'ah. That means today is the day of the gathering. It is the 6th day, the day in which Adam was made. Happy holy day to the Moors. Yeah. Can't hold my excitement in today. All smiles today. Cheese smile. Cheesing from ear to ear. But yeah, today Venus is in Cancer. Right? Venus is accentuated today, the 6th day. Right? 5-point star day. Venus makes 5-point stars in the heavens. And it is in Cancer, which means it's ruled by the moon. And the moon is in Scorpio. My moon's in Scorpio, so I have a lunar return. So, you know, I'm hyped. And the moon, being in Scorpio, is ruled by Pluto. And partly ruled by Mars. It's ruled by Pluto, which is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which is in Leo, which is ruled by the Sun, which is in Leo. Now, Mars is in Virgo, and Mars goes to Mercury, which goes to Leo. So, either way you go, Pluto or Mars, it cycles back to Mercury, and then Mercury cycles back to Leo Sun. So, yes, the Sun rules all planets today, up until when the Moon goes into Sagittarius, and then the moon will be ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter will be ruled by the moon, so they will be out of the sun's direct influence, right? They will rule each other. Other than that, every other planet will either cycle to that moon, Jupiter, that moon Jupiter energy, pardon me in my words, that moon Jupiter energy, that cycle of energy, the moon Jupiter cycle, that's the word. And then every other planet will go to the sun. So today, let's follow that energy. Venus is attraction and repulsion. Oh, that's also a Venus return for me, because my Venus is in Cancer. You know, that may be a reason why things just seem to be working out for me so well mentally and emotionally and financially in every other way. Yeah, because I'm having so many returns. Mercury return, solar returns coming up, got a lunar return, a Venus return. None of the other planets are returning because they're all generational, and that would make me extremely old if that were to be the case. But for most of the planets, I've had returns already. Mars was in Leo. That was a Mars return for me. So, all of the personal planets, I've had returns. And all of those returns work well. Yeah. Soon I'll be working with people directly and teaching them how to take advantage of this energy. Because it is very, very vital that you take care of this energy, right? Which means you're taking care of yourself, because we are literally, physically, we're the microcosm of the macrocosm. Mentally, we're the macrocosm to the microcosm. Let that sink in. So, it behooves you to know these placements. It behooves you to know how to utilize these placements for your better integration of your energy and greater results overall. Breaking away from Volhut, which is the matrix, which is the illusionary world. So, the energy of today, Venus in Cancer, right? Venus in Cancer, right? Venus is attraction and repulsion, and Cancer is anticipation. So you anticipate, which will lead you to attract or repulse? What are you anticipating? Are you anticipating positivity, favorable outcomes, or are you anticipating negativity? Now here's the catch. Well, not the caveat, but here's the extra part to it. Venus is now, since it's in 1 degree and Jupiter is in 11 degrees, it's conjunct. And it's applying, which means that conjunct is strengthening to the point where it's going to become exact. Right? So, that means that you will attract, this is why the cheese smile is there. You will attract, and this is for everybody, because this is in the heavens. Right? Now, the angles that it makes to your particular chart depends on how that energy unfolds for you particularly. But the energy out there is attraction through anticipation, abundance through anticipation. So, if you're anticipating greatness will come to you. And it will come to you abundantly. Right? So, it will come to you very, very, very abundantly. And this will be continuing all the way until Venus moves into 22 degrees. Yes, until it moves into 22 degrees Cancer, which at that point it will be exactly conjunct by Venus, which is at 22 degrees Cancer. Either way is beautiful for me. So, Venus is ruled by the moon today. The moon, well, every day, until it moves into Leo, which then it will be ruled by the sun. It just keeps getting better and better. But now, the moon is in Scorpio. So, it's in its fall. So it's in its most intense energy. What I've learned from being a lunar Scorpion native is that these intense emotions, it's extreme. It's either a great crutch or a great strength. There is no in between. Right? So that's the theme of today. Right? Until the moon moves into the lighter sign of Sagittarius. So it's the lighter-hearted sign. And we just came out of a light-hearted moon sign, which is Libra, which that could be the most light-hearted Libra sign there is. I mean, moon sign there is. You know, being ruled by Venus. The moon likes to be ruled by Venus. Its exaltation is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So here we go. We have a little switch, because Venus is now being ruled by the moon. Right? So it's a little switcheroo. So, this intense energy, right, is cycled through Pluto and Mars. Pluto being in Aquarius, generational energy, which is the reconstruction and the deconstruction of the whole entire scientific paradigm that we've been under, which has been false. You know, people have been posting about the Tartarian Empire and its free energy technology and all sorts of other antiquitech, and even the history that we've been lied to, because Moors have ruled the world all the way up into the 1920s. Yes, dark-skinned people ruled the world, the entire world, all the way up into the 1920s. They still rule the world. They're just, the actual rulers are behind the scene. So, you know, the pale-skinned Slavs, they're just puppets for the Moors that's still in the back, and they're being told to wreak havoc on the Moors who are heirs of the earth. And we're supposed to be caretakers. It's not haughtiness like, oh, I'm dark-skinned, so I run you. No. We have dominion over the earth. The first earth is your body. So we have dominion over the earth. That means we're supposed to be caretakers of the earth. We're supposed to be making sure that the earth is up to par. We're actually supposed to be improving the earth with the technology. That's what the cathedrals or cathedrals were for. The pyramids, the mounds, all of those type of buildings, the temples, the structures, they were built on ley line points so that we can improve the Merkaba or the dome quality of the earth, which that energy cycles up and it comes all the way back down. And then the frequency of everybody, or the wavelength of everybody, increases. That's happening anyway. The Most High just took it upon himself to do that in this time, because people are not doing it. They're doing the exact opposite. They're weakening the Merkabah. But now that we're in the age of Aquarius, right, and we've left the age of Pisces, the key is to learn from the time. Because when you look at the sign of Aquarius, all of this ties in. I'm not off on a tangent. All of this ties in, and I'm going to show you how. When you look at Aquarius, the water bearer, he's pouring the water out of the pitcher. Not picture, pitcher. P-I-T-C-H-E-R. He's pouring it out of the pitcher. The key is that old saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. The waters were the cares of the world of the previous age of Pisces, because we're in the precession of the equinox going backwards, right? Through the ages, forward solarly, right? So, the last age, we're pouring out the water, but it's key not to pour out the baby or throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? So we need to cleanse ourselves with the waters or the cares of the world. For my boys out there, Moorish American nationals, right? That was flagrant. Alhamdulillah. Allah salamatana wa hamayatu. Gotta stay safe on these roads. These trucks, people be wild. But yeah, the energy of Aquarius, there's always a positive, there's always a negative. The positive is there's forward movement, right? Aquarius, rebellion, we're moving forward, eureka moments. But Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn, so there's a tendency to try to go overboard, right? To try to go overboard and escape that Saturnine influence on Aquarius. So, in doing that, people will throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Aquarius, Uranus. Like, nah, I just want to rebel. I just want to get out the structure. No, you still need structure. It's a different type of structure, right? Because Aquarius is a fixed sign. So your mind needs to be fixed on things. Meditation means what people think contemplation is. And contemplation is to set the ground for a temple. Contemplation. Right? So, what happens is that Plutonian energy needs to be cycled and funneled today on a higher level, because I had to explain all of that, because Pluto is a generational planet and Aquarius is the rhyme of the time. It's the age we in. It's the age we are in. So that energy is a lot less personal than it is generational. So that generational energy needs to be taken into account on a personal level for today to move into the next, right? So now we move into the next phase, because I've explained Uranus and Gemini mentality, which goes straight to Mercury and Leo, regal thoughts. The regal thoughts obviously lead to a regal sense of purpose, right? Regal communication. Make sure you're saying your affirmations. I'm giving you actionable steps, practical steps. That Saturnine energy is in Aries, retrograde, right? So it's a reassessment of how you've been structuring your life. Have you been throwing out the baby with the bathwater in your own personal life and overall with how you've been trained and programmed by society, Tohut, right? That leads to Mars, which is meticulous action. What actions are you taking? Are you making a budget? Are you sticking to it? Are you eliminating certain foods from your life? Right? Are you exercising? Right? Are you exercising restraint? How much attention are you paying to the things that you're doing? Are you still on autopilot? Right? Or are you making a conscious decision, not choice, decision to have a purpose-driven life where the details are taken care of, right? The details are being sorted out, which would, again, lead to what? Lofty thoughts in communication. Regal thoughts in communication, which leads back to a regal sense of purpose. What is your sense of purpose? Why are you here? I know why I'm here. I'm here to serve the Most High. Do my job the way I'm supposed to do it. Return to Him and then receive my reward. My recompense for work done here. Because we're all on a job. Right? See how easy that was? That was clear. Boom, purpose, this, that. And guess what? It has nothing to do with the world. It has nothing to do with Tawhut. Now, the problem comes in for most people is their purpose is whatever's here in Tawhut. It's not going to come out that simple. And it's not going to actually be that simple. Right? Which is why I'm here to help. So, the people who align with my sense of purpose and the people who align with my sub-sense of purpose. Right? The sub-sense of purpose is to gain all of the resources necessary, put myself in certain financial and legal, national positions, right, resourceful positions, to make that job easier and more beneficial to myself and everyone else, right? Abundance in wisdom, abundance in resources, abundance in health, right? And abundance in strength, right? In all ways. You can be healthy and not strong. It's not for me. I need to be physically and mentally strong and emotionally strong, right? Because I'm a man, super masculine man, and that's just unacceptable for me to be not that. So, the purpose or the rhyme of the time is for everything to align to a grand sense of purpose. There is no other grander sense of purpose than the one that I originally named. That's the purpose why we're all here. Most people sugarcoat it because they're trying to appeal to people. That's idolatry. You see how I'm dressed? Not doing that. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to put down anybody's sub-purpose, but I'm here to let you know that the first purpose is everybody's actual purpose. And everything else that you made a purpose, you only made it after you got here and after you were trained and programmed by Tawhut. If you were not, then that wouldn't be your purpose. If your purpose is to get money, somebody made the money. So if they didn't make that money, what would your purpose be? You came onto the earth, and let's say you want to be a carpenter. Oh, but if the Most High didn't make the earth and make the wood on there, how could that be your purpose? I could go on and on and on down the list. How anything except that first purpose that I named is based on something that's here, which, if that's your main purpose, I'm just letting you know it's idolatry. There's a huge punishment for that. But I'm here to help either way it goes, because the Quran says that we are supposed to help the people. We're not supposed to denigrate the people, right? It says, whoever will confide, let them confide. Whoever will infide, let them infide. Right? Infide, I never heard that before. I heard confide. Well, I just made it up, right? Well, not made it up. I just coined the term, right? Because when you confide in something, you have confidence in that thing. When you infide something, you have infidence in that thing, which makes you an infidel, which means unfaithful. Confidence is based on knowledge, not presumption, what people call belief or blind belief. Like turning on a light switch. You have faith that you can turn on a light switch because you know how to do it. You've done it before. That's faith. So anyone telling you faith is, oh, well, you don't know. No, you do know. Right? You know that you don't know. So you have faith in that. Makes perfect sense, right? I know that I don't know everything, so I have faith in the things that I know and the things that I don't know. Because I had to bridge the gap by accepting that I didn't know it in order to get to know it. And then I also have to accept that there are things that I will never know. Because I'm not supposed to. And that's good. Guess what? That's less stress on me. Right? Why would I want to know things that I'm not supposed to know? Right? Feelings, emotion. We're going back to the moon. Right? The Scorpio moon. The intensity. It's been super intense my entire life. And now it's at an even keel where I can use all of that energy properly. We all have lower selves, so I feel the lower self coming up. But the lower self is even looking like, I need to get on board with where this is going, because this is going in a better direction than even I want to go. So let me go with this. And that's how you take control of your mind, right? You can take control of your resources. You can take control of your finances. But if you don't take control of your mind, a fool and his money, i.e. resources, are soon parted. And based on a lot of information that I'm coming to know and beginning to utilize, that's super so. You know, so you don't want to be, if you are truly about upliftment, you don't want to be in a situation where you're siphoning off your energy to someone in somewhere else where it's not most beneficial to you. And I'll give a financial example, right? The paying of bills with Federal Reserve notes, working hard, and, you know, the fake American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it. You know, white picket fence, but you gotta pay property taxes, you have to pay mortgage, and they can come and tell you what you can do on your property. Guess why? Because you're not in fee simple. You're in fee. You're feudal, right? You're under a feudal system where you have a landlord. You're not in fee simple or allodium, which means you don't own what you say that you own outright. You recognize that there's a human owner and that you're paying fealty to them. That doesn't work for me, because I only pay fealty to the Most High. So there are ways to go about having land and all of your assets in allodium, meaning you actually own everything that you possess, that's in your possession, it's in your care, it's under your dominion. There are ways to do these things. Most people don't know about this. Why? Because you've been trained by Tohut. Going back to what I said earlier with the Pluto, you gotta break down. You gotta break it down, gotta analyze it, then synthesize it. Then you move to Uranus, and you have to rebel out of what is what? Too saturnine, too limiting. See how it all correlates? You're using certain mentality to conjure up certain paperwork, scripting. Then you're sending it in to certain people to challenge them, adverse possession, so that you can claim your rightful place as Khalifullah or Khalifatullah, a successor of Allah, masculine, respectively, and a successor of Allah, feminine, respectively. We're successors. People call themselves gods and goddesses. There's something going to happen to you for that. Just letting you know. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. You just stop saying that. You're not a primordial being. There is the primordial being, and then there's the beings that it created. And these souls didn't exist from the beginning of time. It just didn't. Only Allah existed from the beginning of time. So there's only a primordial being. There's not primordial beings. There's only a quote-unquote God. There's not gods. There's the creator and the created. It's really simple. Everything else convolutes it. I have a saying, right? Everything's easy. It's only complicated when you complicate it. That's it. Everything's simple. Speak it and it is. I'm very healthy, very wealthy. That's it. Now, what happens is you have a lower self that's attached to this Talgut, and it is purposely there to challenge what you say. It's there to throw a quote-unquote monkey wrench, astaghfirullah, because, Jack Johnson, monkey, they try to call him a monkey. He made the wrench, which, even that, to me, I think there's some cap in that story, because it's like, okay, if he made the wrench, what were they using before then? But, maybe they weren't using anything like that. I don't know. I have to do more research on it. It just sounds weird. But I think maybe he may have innovated, right? Uranus, Aquarius, he may have innovated a tool that already existed and then made it into the wrench. And then, certain race of Slavs didn't like him. So I guess they called him monkey. So, monkey wrench. But, stuck for a lot for that. But yeah, to put obstacles in your way. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what jihad is. Jihad is, it can be, external struggle, which boils into warfare, right? Between faithful people and unfaithful people, right? Which faithful people in the end always win that war. It doesn't matter, right? But that happens internally first. The jihad is mostly internally. It's an internal battle that's going on within you. The lower self and the higher self. Your vain desires and what you know you're supposed to be doing. The reality, which is infinite, unlimited. And the fake reality, right? Which is everything you see around you. Literally, even when you look in the mirror, you look at your body, that's fake. It's not what's going on. It's not real. Even though I look in the mirror and I love what I see. Alhamdulillahi ala tariqati lati sawwarni baha. Praise be to Allah for the manner in which He formed me. I love myself a lot. I know that I'm a beautiful man. People say handsome. You put the word hand in some. I'm beautiful. Because beauty is beauty. It's not feminine. Right? Because in Arabic, it's the same word. It's just feminine. Jamil, beautiful. Masculine. Jamila, beautiful. Feminine. When you get to English, then it's like, oh. That's why I'm working on my Arabic, so that I don't have to rely on speaking English, because a lot of English is based on Shemitic languages anyway. Right? Even if you want to take the Latin route, Latin was formed by Hebrew. There's just no other way around it. But all of this is to make a large point. And for those who have a large attention span, which you should, because if you have a short attention span, it's going to be very difficult for you to manifest anyway. Right? This is why the rat race exists. The rat race exists because there's competition. And the competition needs to keep you busy so you don't focus on what actually makes you competition, which is focus. Right? Controlled focus, calm, stresslessness. Like right now, I'm in a traffic jam, right? This stresses people out because, they have to get to work at a certain time. But I'm fortunate because I DoorDash, so I don't have to get to work at a certain time. I'm blessed, because blessed means to sprinkle blood on an altar. So I don't say that. I say I'm blessed. Right? I'm sanctified by the Most High, because I don't have a manager breathing down my neck, and I still make good money, right? And I have things formulating to where I won't have to do this for very much longer. But yeah, I like to do it though. It's not like, oh man, I don't like this. I love this. I love how I dress. Today's going to be a very great day. I know I'm going to get a lot of female attention because my Venus is in Cancer. Venus is in Cancer. My moon is in Scorpio. The moon is in Scorpio. It just works out. You know what? I love it. I love all of it. I get a lot of attention anyway because of how I dress here in the deep South. They're not used to seeing an Arab. They're used to seeing people being a cog in the system, dressing like each other, and then every now and then you have somebody that comes outside and they're like, I like the way you dress, you're well put together. Or somebody will come out there with Uranus themed clothing and they just look very interesting. It's like, or they'll do something with their hair. Mostly it's like Slavs, where they dye their hair certain types of colors and things of that nature, and they look really cool. A lot of their creativity, I like it. They are a creative people as well in their own right. Our creativity as Moorish people has been stifled purposely because everybody in the world follows us, especially the Moorish American people. Everybody in the world wants to do what we're doing, no matter if it's positive or it's negative. And everybody who doesn't want to quote unquote do it, they want to materially and financially and resourcefully capitalize off of it. The Most High is with the Moors because that's just how it was set up. It wasn't set up any other way. It's just like you need to go into the ground to get the food. You could grow food in a lab, but it's not going to be as nutritious as if you grow the food from the ground. And this is not a shot at other nationalities because people like to take it that way. What I'm saying is, if that were not the case, why would the trends be coming only from here and everybody's doing this? Rap music didn't come from the East. Even this European style of dress, this modern style of dress, it didn't come from modern Europe. It came from here. Modern English didn't come from Europe. It actually came from here in America. So even the British English that they're speaking right now is younger than American English that I'm speaking right now. So how they're speaking in England right now, they weren't speaking like that in colonial times. They weren't. They put it in movies and make you think that that's what it was. But the language that they were speaking back then would be unintelligible to you today because they were still speaking Old English. Sir Francis Bacon, the Arab Moor, the Sephardi Arab Iberian Andalusian refugee, spoke Arabic, and he changed the modern English language to what it is today in America. But he changed it in the Bible first, right? The 1611 Bible, he changed that. But he just changed it in the Bible. He didn't have access to the whole printing press, and even if he did, right, which he did, it still would take people a long time to learn the language that way. So when people came here to America, there was already a form of what we're speaking now as English anyway. It's called Algonquin. That's why there's American English and then there's English, or British English. And the British English that they're speaking today is modern. It's not ancient. It has ancient roots, but it's not ancient. It's modern. So how I'm speaking right now is more ancient than their stuff because it's strapped with Algonquin. Or should I say Algonquian, right? Because Algonquin would be technically the people, and Algonquian would be the language. So, the manner in which I'm speaking right now is still Aboriginal American. And what do most people speak around the world? American English? Only the people who's in the modern British colonies speak the British English. Everybody else speaks an American form of English, which means they're actually speaking a form of Algonquian, which means they're actually speaking a form of Aboriginal American language, and they don't even realize it. So you tell me, right? Everybody's not speaking Chinese. That's not what it is. They're very powerful people, very respectful people, very honorific people. But we're not speaking their language. Most people are not speaking their language. Most people are not breaking their necks to get to their country. Most people, subhanallah, yo, oh. Allahumma khafif anhum. That car is charred. Woo. That's beyond total. That's junkyard. That's finished. But yeah, I'm a real person. I live in real time. No cuts, no edits. You're dealing with a real person in real life. I don't gotta fake, because my life is the best. Right? My life is the best that it could ever be. Right? Shout out to Erica, the power of I am. I'm connected to all that is. I am love. I am perfection. I am always chosen. I'm everyone's top priority. No one is better than me. No one compares to me. I claim it. Therefore it is. This video's been long, but it's supposed to be long because I'm supposed to get certain things across to you, right? While expressing myself. I'm going to help you get to a certain point mentally, because when it appears, I'm already there mentally, when it appears that I have gotten there materially, then everyone will want to jump on. But that'll be Johnny come lately. Those who are paying attention to what I'm saying and applying this, which will, be the few among the many, which that's the way I prefer it. I'd rather have one person contribute $20 million to me in one shot, one benefactor, than 10 million people contributing $1. Or 5 million people contributing $2. Go ahead, you do the math. I won't do it for you. But, yeah. I like to be my authentic self. I'm showing you how to be for you, not like me, but how to be for you. Be your authentic self. We're here in Togut. The real world is actually what's going on inside. Right? Love your life. There are opportunities, especially here in Amaruka, which is what we originally called it, right? Then the Spanish said America, or, right, America in English. Go ahead and pass me, I don't like, doing that. Georgia drivers. Yeah. I love to speak. I love to speak for long periods of time. I listen to videos while I'm traveling, while I'm driving, that are hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour long. And I just sit there and absorb the information. That's why I have so much information to give, because I do not have a short attention span. I'm not going to say that somebody who has a short attention span is bad or negative or unfavorable. There's a time and a place for everything. But if you do not cultivate a longer attention span, how are you going to cultivate a longer achievement span? How? Because if we're living in a time that's Aquarius, mental focus, right? The rhyme of the time, Togut, if you don't want to align with the heavens and have a long attention span, right? This is why for many people, shorts can be detrimental. Short form content. Shout out to Elmer O'Locker Jr. He always says, you need to get the short form content out. And I'm working on it too. As far as like what he says about the diet, like get the sweets out, because, you know, I like my vegan chocolate chip cookies, you know, but you know how I eat. It's more balanced, you know. It's a lot more balanced, right? Seeded grapes, not seedless, seeded, right? These grapes can reproduce. Why would I eat something that doesn't reproduce, right? Finishing off these cherries. They almost done. Need to buy some more. Probably buy some more today. Find a good deal. You know how they be with the price of the cherries, but you know me, I'm a Leo. With Venus in Cancer, Mars in Leo, and Mercury in Leo, I don't look at prices like that, like, because I already think rich. Like, I'm more concerned with the value of a thing because I'm rich. I'm wealthy. Poor, impoverished people, they're worried about the price of a thing rather than the value of a thing, which is why most people eat poison. Most people, they still eating meat, thinking they eating meat, they eating people. You know, if you go into a restaurant, you think that is animal meat, and depending on your source, if it's halal or kosher, most likely that it is. If it's conventional, you eat people. It just is what it is. Like, I'm not here to sugarcoat, because Pluto in Aquarius is the rhyme of the time. And why would I get out here and lie to you? Do the math. Do the math. You know, you can do a Google search and figure this out. How many people are perishing? How many graves are being built? Right? Graveyards are being built. How many graveyard workers are being hired? How many graveyard workers does it take to dig a grave, and how long does it take? So how many people would it take? I'm going to just, you know, cut it to the chase for you. You know, cemeteries should be big business. Cemeteries should always be higher. It should be big, big, big business. But it's not. When the last time you heard about a cemetery being built? Yeah, I'm going to let that one sink in. There's a lot going on here. A lot. And I've been packed with knowledge. A lot of these things, I've known them for years intuitively. I'll say that like that. Now, the actual Torgut, right? The actual documentation written down and verified from primary sources are confirming what I've already had an intuitive sense for. So guess what I do now? I just go off of the intuitive sense. And then I wait, right, for Torgut to come and say, oh, look, I told you so, but I keep it moving. Waiting is in not waiting stationary. Waiting is in I'm Cancer. What? Anticipating it to come. Right? So a better word would be anticipating it. Waiting, technically it is you're sitting in one spot like I'm waiting right here. Right? To start work because I'm talking to you. So I'm doing another work. Right? So, with that being said, there's a lot of knowledge that is useful, and then there's a lot of knowledge that is unuseful, not because it's unuseful, it's because knowledge out of season is fruitless. You go ahead and plant something in the middle of the winter, excuse me. Depending on what type of crop it is, good luck with a harvest. You know, so you got the seeds, but you're attempting to plant them in the wrong season. They're going to be fruitless. This is why you move with the astrological energy, because it's the rhyme of the time. You're going to receive what it is that you've been hoping and praying for. But are you really prepared for it? If you received it now, what would you do with it? Would you squander it? Probably, most likely. Why you don't have it. but many of us are going to be given it regardless, to show us who we really are, because we haven't been showing ourselves who we really are. And I've been doing a lot of these series to begin to show you who you really are. I really don't need to do the days anymore, because if you go and check the rest of my videos, either on TikTok or on YouTube, this one's definitely going to be for YouTube because it's so long, then you will notice it's a cycle. And as long as you know where the planetary energies are, as long as you know where the dispositors are, meaning the planets that rule other planets, then you'll understand the flow of energy. People talk about being in flow states. Well, the flow state is the energetic flow state of the heavens above. As above, so below. With that being said, we're the physical microcosm of the physical macrocosm, but we are the mental macrocosm to the mental microcosm. And then, right, it has to inverse, which all is mental, which means you've been given dominion over the earth. That's a mental concept, because if a tree falls on you, that tree has dominion over you, your body, like you're crushed. But was it the man who applied his mind to the tree, to the earth, formulated an axe or a chainsaw and cut that tree down in the first place? Then it accidentally, or if he's wicked, purposely fell on you? One man used his mind to dominate the material world. Another man was not using his mind and was dominated by the material world physically, because the physical world, right, that's how it's set up, microcosm of the macrocosm, right? We look out, oh, we see the dome, right? We see the sky, we see the clouds, we see the trees. Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah for what He has created. We get to enjoy it. We're here and we have enjoyment of all of the physical resources for a time, and we're successors of the Creator, and we've been given dominion over this. Dominion is a concept. It's mental. It's mentality. The Most High dwells in temples not made by hands, right? So the Most High is within. He's closer to you than your jugular vein. Why? Because He is you, yet is beyond you. So guess what? You get to use that power to have dominion over the world, right? Those people who are parasitic elite, they are having dominion over people having dominion over the earth. They don't actually have dominion over the earth. I can prove it. The elite make up, what, 10%, and then 1% of that 10% dictate what the other 9% of that 10% policies are, because they control all of the wealth, right? And they control, right, because it's all mental, right? They have certain knowledge and wisdom that they will not impart to the rest of the 9%, which keeps them at a certain level of power. And the 9% dare not disobey, because the knowledge that the 1% have can topple the rest of the 9%. So they get the 9% to go out there and fool 85% to be against 5% of people who are righteous. Right. So, where in that equation does 1% or 9% of the people actually control resources? How could that be possible? Just use logic, use reasoning. How could that be possible that you have people that don't make up most of the population, but they actually have physical possession of everything? No, it doesn't work. So the dominion has to be mental, right? Because it's not possible for 10% of the people that have all of these resources. So, the 10%, they're going to come and repo the cars. They're going to come and they send 85% of the people to do their work. So they have dominion over the minds of the people who have dominion, because the people who have dominion over the earth are actually utilizing the earth. They don't got to do it, right? That's laziness. There's a punishment for that, right? Which is also why they have to set up the system, right, their system, to where they make way more of a profit or benefit off of your work than you do, because then that would X them out. I mean, this stuff's not complicated until you complicate it. It's very simple. Now you just remove yourself from that, because they don't have any physical might. Now, again, the same way that they used mental alchemy on the people to get them to do something, you can use your Jedi mind tricks, alchemize, go even higher than that, and just X them all out from the equation. The 1% know that. That's why the brain drain game is so high. How can I get the 5%? 85% they're lost. It doesn't matter. How can I get the 5% to doubt themselves and waver so that I can stay in position longer? I need to find a way to influence them so that their resolve is not as strong as mine is, because I'm already weak and they're already strong. So if I could fool them into thinking they're weak, I can subsist for a little longer. Imagine a mouse being backed into a corner from the lion, and the mouse is a little bit keener, a little bit more intelligent, and then the mouse, it's like, oh, well, lion, you're not as bad as you say that you are, because you're only trying to eat me, and if you try to eat me, then what does that say about you, and blah 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 blah. Well, the lion could just ignore that, eat the mouse, and be done with the whole thing. But if the mouse considers, even for a second, again, Pluto in Aquarius, breaking things down, deconstructing what's being programmed and said, right? Mindsets, belief systems, presumptions. If you consider it for even a second, you're done. You're not supposed to be considering. You're supposed to be moving. You're supposed to be being. Whatever is not of your circumpunct purpose, it doesn't exist. Meaning, you got the dot, you got the circle. That symbol is called a circumpunct. P-U-N-C-T, punct. Right? You're the dot in the middle. Circle's your sphere of influence. Everything within your sphere of influence is only what you concentrate on. Everything outside of it doesn't exist. Somebody comes up, hey, lion, there. Keep moving. That's exactly what would happen to the 10%, 1%. If we just lived and just did what we were supposed to do, they would get devoured. Not by us per se, because we're not wicked people, but they would be devoured by the energy. It's energetic. So they would be devoured by the energy. There's nothing they'd be able to do about it. And we're one with the Most High. We're connected, and that's it. We just move forward. We don't even pay attention to what they're doing. Boom. This is it. We're not stepping over anybody, so we're not breaking any laws, right? Naturally, we're not infringing on anybody's rights. We're unstoppable. And that's it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ayyuhan nas al habib. Wada'an.